That moment has come, a moment for which many young people, many people across the globe have been working. And it is my pleasure, privilege, and pride to welcome you all from wherever you're watching. So, do I say good morning to you? Or maybe it's already good afternoon. So, wherever you are, whichever part of the world, let me tell you my name first. I'm Vasanthi Hariprakash, Vasanthi from India. I'm the founder of Pickle Jar, that is very proud to partner with Oxfam on this very powerful symposium, EYW. Now, at Pickle Jar, we are a team very excited to welcome you because we curate and organize conversations around culture, cinema, youths. And this 2-day symposium is a coming together of all that you saw. You know, the kind of richness and diversity of languages as well. So, how do we, sitting in different corners of the world, bring and brought together by technology, enjoy this experience? So let me put out some house rules, some instructions that will help you have this better experience. So, very first, I want to tell you about the translation button. All these sessions are being translated as I speak, as the speakers speak, into Bahasa, Urdu, Bangla, Somali, and Oromifa. So to enable translations, you will find the little headphone button on the bottom of your screen. If you just look at your screen, and you can choose the language that you want this translation to happen for you. Now, the second thing is called the polls. These are essentially ways in which you and I can interact, play games, maybe, understand each other, converse, and of course, have our viewpoints across. So, what I'm going to do is the questions that I or other speakers will be asking you, you can answer just by going to the polls tab, that is POLLS, the polls tab on the right of your screen. Okay, so now we have games to play, we have your languages enabled. So, how do you choose a session that you like? Because, you know, towards afternoon, or rather towards the second half of the day, you're going to have many breakout sessions rich with speakers and experiences. So, you can choose the sessions either by the country or by language just by clicking on the tag. And you can read all about the session, the speakers of any session, and then make your choice. So now, standing here, you know, in one corner of this planet, I'm coming to you from the south of India. I almost feel like a time traveler. What what a lovely experience to actually be able to tell a story that I know will warm your heart. So I'm going to ask you, you see, to come travel with me. And as we go along, remember, I can even ask you questions. And all you have to do is to answer in your own languages from wherever you are sitting right now. So as we go along, let me begin from a beautiful, large continent, a continent that you and I love. So, Africa is where we begin today's journey and visual story from. Now, I'm going to take you to a country which has the most UNESCO World Heritage Sites on the continent. In fact, the first African to win an Olympic gold medal came from this country. Yes, Ethiopia. Remember Ethiopia, because now I'm going to tell you about three more countries: Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia. This is the, you know, the kind of the geography from where you're going to meet people, young participants, key actors from. So to tell you the next part of the story, you will say, Vasanthi, so what is happening next? I will now take you to Europe, to the Netherlands, because this small little country, a country with a lot of heart, is where a few people got together and decided to start a program that would make the lives of young people better. So, there on your screens, if you can see, it was a program called EYW that was born in July 2016. So, people there who got together were from Oxfam, supported by IKEA Foundation. Now, they decided to go to those countries which have a lot of young people, youth potential, but these were places wrecked by climate havoc. Again, when they all got together, they, with the implementing partners in those countries that were chosen, remember I told you those four countries: Ethiopia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Indonesia. With the implementing partners, they began working with young people, giving them skills, helping them fight the challenges of gender discrimination and poverty, and even COVID. You see, when all these meetings were that are happening and you are seeing it come alive, those moments on screen, I feel like asking you a question, because COVID, as like many other challenges, was so huge to cross. But do you feel that COVID helped bridge the gender gap? This is my, let's say, the first poll question. Remember, I told you about the polls button on your screen. You can go there and answer with a yes or no. Because while you do that, I'm actually going to tell you about a young lady from Indonesia who will tell her story even as you're watching the other visuals of men who were a part of so many of these programs. There's something called GALS, Gender Assisted Learning Session, many, many more things which helped people understand the other gender better and empower many of these young people. So while you answer the poll question, let's listen to what she says from Indonesia.
Tantangan terbesar bagi seorang perempuan yang hidup di desa adalah menghadapi stigma dari masyarakat, di mana perbedaan peran antara laki-laki dan perempuan itu masih sangat terasa di masyarakat desa. Program EYW dari Oxfam memberikan saya peningkatan kapasitas dan berbagai pelatihan.
So here we heard her speak about the stigma that she and many young people, young women
हेलो
faced in her village.
जी, आपने अभी तक ज्वाइन नहीं किया एज अ स्पीकर?
Third. So let us have those answers on stage, because I know it might take a little bit of time. You are trying to get those in your own languages, whether it's Bahasa or Urdu, Bangla, Oromifa. Within Ethiopia, there are these dialects, there's Somali. So maybe we wait for a few more of you to actually come up with what you think was the answer to whether COVID helped bridge the gender gap. And even as you do that, and even as the poll results will come to you, here is what teams from Pakistan, teams from Ethiopia, of those who are working on the ground as part of the EYW program told us. They said that involving men in the sessions where where there are these interventions, it's very important to let them realize this. Men even started helping in the household chores during COVID-19 because of these trainings. So, wherever you are, I'm sure some of these experiences are very personal for you, right? Even if you had never really known about the EYW program, you're just about, you've registered for this and you're getting to learn so many things that happened. But I'm going to ask you that the work that began in 2016, can you even guess how many people have been impacted? So it's not 100, it's not 1,000 or even 10,000, but the number will come up on screen. That's how many young minds we have who were really touched in many, many ways, because it has left a footprint on these four countries. So today, though the challenges remain, the Empower Youth for Work program has really, really made something that has made us sit up and take notice that could this be replicated in other countries and other geographies as well. So that was a visual story of EYW. And here is this beautiful you see this sort of illustration that has been created by Kavya Venugopal that you see on your screen in a little bit. And therefore, yes. So if we can have the poll results. All right. So I think the poll results are something which will help you understand what your own view to this question was. And I'm happy to say that no matter what you thought, that gender discrimination, more and more people are beginning to get sensitized about this. So, on that note, I'm going to welcome two very special women as they come on stage, because they are women who are at the very heart of the EYW program. And let me first welcome Seher, who is passionate about rights and empowerment, equality in young people, especially women. And then she heads the gender program for Oxfam in Pakistan. So wherever you are, please put your hands together. I should be able to hear the claps across the computers and your mobile phones. Let's also be sensitive to the fact that many of these are developing economies and countries. So there may be power outages, there may be low connectivity, and people are making a real deal of effort, including the speakers themselves, to join us. So we also have great pleasure in inviting Marika, who as a person heading the project of EYW has been involved in the implementation of this in-depth project for the youths of 4 countries. So ladies, uh, as we say from India, namaste, and very warm welcome to the two of you. How are you feeling, Seher, this morning?
Very delighted, very excited because finally we are there with what we set forth, I think, 5 years ago. So I'm really excited today.
So, before I go to Marika, Seher, apart from so many others that you have been a part of?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Vasanthi. First of all, as I've already mentioned, I would like to thank all the guests, for such a warm welcome, even, being on the virtual platform. So I really feel honored. And I'm really delighted to be the part of this day because as I mentioned that 5 years ago, we saw a dream. And today I feel that we have, somehow reached to that level where we can say that we have reached what we actually aspired for. We all know that we have a long way to go, we have a long journey to go, but at least over the last 5 years this program has created those pathways that can actually guide our young people and can inspire a lot of other practitioners, to adapt our approaches that we adapted, to empower rural young people, particularly young girls, in the or the disaster prone areas. I would say that, what was unique in this project, I have actually seen young people across all the 4 countries, living their dreams. They drew their dreams and they live their dreams, and they have reached at least to a level where they are now clear that they where they want to go in terms of, in their future life. So I think this is a huge contribution on part of this project, and some of the approaches I think were really helpful in kind of making this kind of personal and impactful change in the lives of young people. And I would really say that our process of co-creation, where we actually involved young people throughout the project design, implementation, its monitoring, improving the program design, remained really fruitful. And our young people, throughout the project, they took the ownership of this project. They today, they own the project initiatives just as if, it's their own thing that they have to, take forward to. I also feel that, our holistic approach that we adopted, because we tried to address all different challenges that were out there in the external environment. So we not only targeted the supply side, but we also targeted the demand side of it. So when we not only worked on the skills of the young people, but we also work on the ecosystem as well, so
Yeah,
that we can provide opportunity to the young people. And
yeah.
finally, I think the one of the biggest thing that this project has worked for is around addressing the harmful social norms that
Hmm.
usually limits young women to come out of their houses and participate, fully in the economic life. So
You
I
you
really
have really, yes, you've really kind of summarized such a huge 5-year journey in some of these points, especially the processes, Seher, and the youths as co-creators. It's not like some experts said, okay, this shall happen for you, but actually that the youth themselves were involved. In fact, I'm going to ask Marika that a lot of people in the audience, I'm sure, are people from across the world who want to know, therefore, that to have this kind of an impact on scale, what were those special elements back in your own EYW program that could make it happen, Marika?
Yes, thank you for that question, Vasanti. Honestly, there are quite some things to say about that, but I'll try to keep it focused. I really like what Seher just said, that we have seen the youth starting to live their dreams. I think that is central. And as Seher described, the key element to us has been to put youth at the center of all the aspects of the program. So from the design of the program, but also from the design of the interventions we did. So the youth themselves were the experts analyzing the situation and not external people. And this led to this set of intervention as described by Seher. So as Seher and me are saying this quite easily, right? It's easily said to do that, put youth at the center and have this combination of approaches. But to tell you honestly, it's not been easy to implement because there were three challenging areas of intervention having to be done at the same time.
I think, Seher,
On top
I'm
of
sure
that,
from...
I'm waiting for the sun. On top of that, we've had actually some very external challenges on top of that. The COVID-19, as mentioned by you, Vasanti, but also some natural disasters in all of the countries, and also political changes we had to deal with.
Yes.
So if you ask me, what made in the end that we have seen the young people living their dreams, despite all this complexity and challenges, it's the strength of the people involved in this project. The young women and men in the countries who were so resourceful, but also the staff of the partner organizations, the Oxfam country teams and the colleagues in Oxfam Novib. They all have shown tremendous resilience, creativity, and dedication, leading to this very solution-oriented atmosphere that is needed to do a program like this. With absolute confidence in the vision we wanted to achieve, and always the interest of the youth groups at the heart of what we do. It's been truly amazing. And we have seen people starting to live their dream. Yes, we did. They generated an income. We have overcome social norms. But to me, as a person, what has been most striking to see after we did some surveys and talked to many youth is that really all the young people have reported how they gained confidence. Confidence to take life into their own hands and confidence to stand up for themselves, but also the drive to share this with their peers and to make this happen in their communities and make the world a little better. That has been truly extraordinary. But I think, Seher, this is quite theoretic talk. I think you could maybe illustrate this with a nice example from Pakistan to show what it means in practice, all this language.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Marike, you very rightly said that, this program has seen lots of ups and downs, but it was only the motivation of young people that kept us going. And it was, the demand that was kept coming from young people that we need to continue these kind of interventions. And I completely agree with Marike that the kind of interventions that we have seen, the kind of motivation that those young people have shown just because, with the support of, small penny or with the support of small platform or linkages or connection. So I can think of so many young girls in my area who were coming from really orthodox environment and background, but now they are serving as lady constable. They are standing at the road, and they are actually adapting non-conventional traits that are not usually popular for
Seher,
women.
would you like to say her name? The lady who went on to become the woman constable in her community, and I'm sure inspiration for so many girls in Pakistan?
Yeah, she comes from Laya, and her name is Nosheen Parveen. So she was the part of our very first batch of youth leaders, and then now she's serving as a lady constable in Laya. So there is another woman with the name of Khushbu in Jamshuro. She used to do our handicraft work on a very small scale level, but with the help of EYW project, she actually expanded her work. She gets linked with local SMEs. She gets linked with online selling platform, and she then hired 35 women in her house.
Wow,
And she
that
is
is
now,
true change. Yeah.
Exactly. So now she's not only changing her life, but she's also, positively impacting a lot of many other lives as well. And she's now setting up more businesses, and then, involving her friends and her other colleagues from the area to hand it over to them. So these are, such an inspiring stories, and these are only
Yes.
few.
Yes.
So there are a whole lot of story across the country, world. There are some similar stories from Bangladesh, Indonesia, Ethiopia,
Sure.
and I've seen them when we visited them during our global learning events. So yeah.
I think between the two of you, you have given us the concepts and then you have given the practice. You've given us the intention that was there in the teams that worked together, and then what that landed in inspiration of these young people who are, in a way, role models for us, for the society in many, many places across and beyond their countries. So I'm going to really thank the two of you, Marika and Seher. Seher, of course, you're going to be back with your other session. Do you want to tell people what they should wait for in the rural hubs and the other things that you and your team will share?
Yes, please, please, please do join me in our Rural Hub session that's going to happen after the tea break, and I'll definitely show some inspiring story, and will help you meet those young people personally and ask question by yourself. So I think it will be a really, really inspiring, session for you. So I'll really like to invite you all for that session.
Yes, so at least I have, booked my seat at that, table. In fact, I would like to tell all our viewers, this is also going to be recorded. So in case you have friends and, of course, other fraternity in your workplace and otherwise who you think, hey, they should be watching this video, and what Seher and Marika just now shared with us is going to be recorded and also shared on the Oxfam YouTube channels. But with that, I will let the two of you go. I must say that you have really given us lots of food for thought. So thank you, both of you.
Thank you, everyone.
How lovely to to see them join from their own countries on screen in a manner that we all can see them. So with that, I'm actually going to go and take you a little bit into the music part, and this comes from yet another powerfully potential filled country called Bangladesh. We call it the culture booster because, remember, it's not just talk, but it's also music and youth power. And so I invite you now to view this video along with me.
ধন ধান্য পুষ্প ভরা আমাদের এই বসুন্ধরা, তাহার মাঝে আছে দেশে
সকল দেশের সেরা,
ও সে স্বপ্ন দিয়ে তৈরি সে দেশ,
স্মৃতি দিয়ে ঘেরা।
এমন দেশটি কোথাও খুঁজে পাবে না কো তুমি।
সকল দেশের রানী সেজে আমার জন্মভূমি, সে যে আমার জন্মভূমি, সে যে আমার জন্মভূমি। হেইয়া রে হেইয়া রে হেই হেই হেই, হেইয়া রে হেইয়া রে হেই হেই হেই। ডঙ্গর তোলো তোলো সময় যে হলো হলো, ডঙ্গর তোলো তোলো, ডঙ্গর তোলো তোলো সময় যে হলো হলো, ডঙ্গর তোলো তোলো, ডঙ্গর তোলো তোলো সময় যে হলো হলো, ডঙ্গর তোলো তোলো সময় যে হলো হলো। বৈশাখের বিকেল বেলায় তোমায় নিয়ে বকুল তলায় প্রেমের একখান গান শোনাবো, আর বৈশাখের বিকেল বেলায় তোমায় নিয়ে বকুল তলায় প্রেমের একখান গান শোনাবো। পাখিরা ডাকবে মনে রং লাগবে, পাখিরা ডাকবে মনে রং লাগবে, কিছু মিষ্টি মধুর স্বপ্ন সাজাবো, প্রেমের একখান গান শোনাবো। বৈশাখের বিকেল বেলায় তোমায় নিয়ে বকুল তলায় প্রেমের একখান গান শোনাবো, আর বৈশাখের বিকেল বেলায় তোমায় নিয়ে বকুল তলায় প্রেমের একখান গান শোনাবো।
বিহুরে লগন মধুরে লগন আকাশে বাতাসে লাগিল রে চম্পা ফুটিছে চামেল ফুটিছে তার সুবাসে ময়নায় আমার ভাসিল রে বিহুরে লগন মধুরে লগন আকাশে বাতাসে লাগিল রে চম্পা ফুটিছে চামেল ফুটিছে তার সুবাসে ময়নায় আমার ভাসিল রে তার সুবাসে ময়নায় আমার ভাসিল রে রাঙা মাটির রঙে চোখ জুড়ালো সফল মাঝের গানে মন ভরালো বুকের মতো সুরে জাদু পুরুষে দেশে মায়াবতী মধুমতি বাংলাদেশে রাঙা মাটির রঙে চোখ জুড়ালো সফল মাঝের গানে মন ভরালো বুকের মতো সুরে জাদু পুরুষে দেশে মায়াবতী মধুমতি বাংলাদেশে
I was kind of lost in some of those green fields of Bangladesh. And I will teach you a couple of words in case you were to meet a friend or a new person from Bangladesh and you want to make friends with that person and you liked something she or he said, you can say these two words, khub bhalo, as in very, very good, right? Khub bhalo. So let's see, given the fact that we are really dealing with so many languages and our translator friends are enabling these translations and interpretations, isn't it only fair that you and I pick up a couple of lines to impress our other friends? So before we actually get on to the next part of the program, having heard Seher and Marika speak about what makes EYW special, I'm going to do two things. One is that the poll, remember that I was asking you some time back, and some of you said, Vasanti, we need a little bit more time to answer this. We heard you, and therefore I'm going to publish the poll results. It will come up on screen, except that I'm going to ask my friends backstage if they can relay that number or tell me secretly in my ears what is a percentage. 61% said no, which means that COVID has really not helped bridge the gender gap. You know, this is something which gives us an insight that there is so much work to do. There is just so much that even when we think that we are doing the right way or interventions in bringing up our children and talking to young people and communities, lot more of work to be done. Right. But let's have a message of hope. We are here to also hear from other people in this space. But before that, can I ask you one more question? Again, you will have to go to the polls section in your on your screen, the polls tab, that is, because I'm going to ask you, where are you joining us from? It may be, and I can even give you the options for now. Some of the countries, let us talk about, which of these countries are we talking about? Whether it is Bangladesh, and then is it Pakistan, is it Ethiopia, or Indonesia? So, or even the Netherlands, right? So this is something that you can tell me. Bangladesh, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Pakistan, Netherlands, and in case it's none of these, you're anyway going to leave this message in the chat box. So having checked on your location, and I will wait for the next couple of minutes to help my colleagues who are collating this to tell me, I'm going to tell you one more language that you will learn with me today, and that is Bahasa. So if you had to say, good day, everybody, right? Though it must be noon already in Indonesia, but you can say, Selamat siang semuanya. Selamat siang semuanya. Good day, everybody. Because the person who's going to come on stage right now is someone who is giving us an innovation booster. So I'm going to halt and pause a little bit in case the poll results are ready for us, or maybe we can come back to that after we hear this very special speaker. Let me have the pleasure of introducing Ari S. Suhandi, who is a founder and director of the Indonesian Ecotourism Network. Ari is also the vice chair of the Asian Ecotourism Network based in Bangkok. And even as I'm introducing Ari, I can see that the location poll has come up. And so again, I will ask my friends, what is the percentage there? And if it can be probably shared a few minutes later, because, we will have more and more results coming in. But I'm going to next, move on to welcome Ari Suhandi, because he, in his 2 decades of field work, has participated in noteworthy ecotourism and community-based tourism development initiatives in Indonesia, together with various ministries and international donors. In fact, under Ari's supervision, Indecon succeeded as a finalist for Tourism for Tomorrow Award 2016 and received several awards at the national and international level. So Ari said that he will, of course, send us a video, and here it is, straight from him in Indonesia.
Hai, selamat sore. Saya Ari Suhandi dari Indonesia Ecotourism Network. Saya juga Wakil Ketua Asia Ecotourism Network. Terima kasih untuk seluruh partisipan yang telah datang dari berbagai negeri. Dan juga terima kasih kepada Oxfam yang telah memberikan waktu untuk saya berbicara. Sebagai praktisi di bidang pariwisata, khususnya untuk pariwisata berbasis masyarakat, saya ingin berbagi tentang pentingnya pembangunan pariwisata berkelanjutan. Bapak dan Ibu, kita semua tahu bahwa pandemi COVID-19 telah meruntuhkan sektor pariwisata. Globally, pariwisata telah menurun hingga 85% jika dibandingkan tahun 2019. Dan bahkan lebih buruk lagi, di kawasan kami di Asia dan Pasifik telah turun hingga 95% jika dibandingkan tahun 2019. Di Indonesia, kami turun hingga 86% dan telah mempengaruhi 32 juta pelaku pariwisata di Indonesia. Bapak dan Ibu, perlu kita pahami bahwa pariwisata seperti dua mata pedang yang tajam. Di satu sisi membuka peluang pekerjaan yang sangat besar dan juga bahkan memberikan pendapatan yang besar untuk negara. Tapi di sisi lain, jika tidak dikelola dengan baik, pariwisata juga memiliki dampak negatif yang perlu kita perhatikan. Pandemi merupakan salah satu contoh dari eksternal faktor yang ada di sektor pariwisata. Selain itu, kita juga harus memperhatikan eksternal faktor lain yang tidak kalah pentingnya, yakni perubahan iklim. Di mana perubahan iklim juga memberikan pengaruh yang sangat besar dan sangat panjang untuk sektor pariwisata. Dan ini tentunya perlu disikapi. COVID-19 telah memberikan pelajaran yang sangat berharga untuk kita, di mana seluruh pelaku pariwisata dituntut untuk menerapkan standar pelayanan, termasuk kebersihan, kesehatan, menjaga jarak di dalam setiap kegiatan wisata yang dilakukan. Dan kami, para pelaku pariwisata, percaya bahwa percepatan vaksinasi, kolaborasi, inovasi, dan kreativitas akan mempercepat pemulihan pariwisata. Buat sahabat-sahabat muda, ini waktu Anda. Kali ini tidak bisa Anda lewatkan begitu saja. Waktu Anda, momentum yang sangat berharga ini untuk maju bergerak, semangat, membangun pariwisata di desa Anda. Anda sangat mampu menguasai digital teknologi. Anda memiliki pengetahuan tentang daerah Anda sendiri. Anda sangat piawai untuk melakukan komunikasi dengan kawan-kawan yang akan menjadi wisatawan. Itu adalah modal yang sangat besar. Modal yang tidak bisa dipungkiri akan memberikan dampak yang besar untuk kemajuan pariwisata di daerah Anda. Saya sendiri mempercayai bahwa masa depan pariwisata akan banyak dipengaruhi oleh anak-anak muda. Dan kebangkitan pariwisata dunia akan dimulai oleh anak-anak muda. Kebangkitan pariwisata pasca pandemi akan dimulai oleh anak-anak muda. Baik itu untuk pengelola wisata, tetapi juga untuk wisatawan. Saat ini di Indonesia sebagai contoh, dan saya percaya bahwa itu juga dimiliki oleh negara-negara lain, startup untuk pariwisata online dan juga startup untuk tour operators telah banyak dibangun oleh anak-anak muda di masa pandemi. Hal ini tentunya sangat menggembirakan karena memberikan peluang-peluang kerja baru di masa pandemi. Anak-anak muda saat ini dari program Empowerment Youth for Work yang kami kerjakan bersama Oxfam telah membuka kesempatan bagi anak muda membangun platform online untuk membantu produk-produk lokal dari masyarakat. Dan mereka juga sangat piawai saat ini untuk melakukan virtual tours, di mana di masa pandemi virtual tours telah membantu untuk memberikan informasi kepada wisatawan, dan di sisi lain mereka mendapatkan pendapatan. Sobat muda, inilah waktunya buat Anda bangkit. Kebangkitan pariwisata pasca pandemi ada di tangan Anda. Semangat.
Yeah. I think when we were listening into Ari, and I'm sure that you had your translation buttons enabled, it's my very great pleasure to actually welcome Amir Hamza now, who comes to us from Bangladesh. And he's going to be live with us. Amir works as an educator. He graduated in electrical and electronics degree and completed masters in education, and then transformed his career into the education, humanitarian, and development sector. So the last few years, Amir has worked on design and developing interactive and joyful teaching. I know we can hear a few voices of other speakers. Can we please request you to mute yourselves? That will be great. Speaking about Amir, and you see that very colorful, leaves and his face come up. So joyful teaching is what Amir totally enjoys. He currently runs a startup which is called Meka Team to design engaging learning tools for different training. So please put your hands together wherever you are. An applause to welcome our next speaker on the Innovation Booster, Amir Hamza.
Hi, so my name is Amir, and Amir Hamza Jihad basically. So I'm the founder of Make a Team. So before I going to start my presentation, I have a deck, I have a slide, so I need to share the slide. I think it's visible, right?
Yes. I would also, of course, as Amir is getting ready to present his slide,
so
the others to mute themselves. I know that right at the beginning of the program, I had said this, that a lot of people are getting used to a virtual summit.
And then I transform my career basically. So transform my career into education, training, and development sector. So
it's over to you, Amir.
Initially, some of my
Amir will be able to join us, I'm sure, in a few seconds. Yeah. So Amir is an educator, trainer, game maker, as I was saying. And, sometimes no matter what technology that you deal with, these little things, the reality checks of being in the places where we are with not enough connectivity can be a real challenge, isn't it? So that's what I'm going to give a little bit more time to our very dear speaker. Meanwhile, there is also a poll question whose answers I have not yet put out. So I'm going to encourage all of you to answer some more. I had said that, are you joining in from Bangladesh, Ethiopia, Pakistan, or Indonesia? Where are you joining us from? That is something you can answer with the polls button on that page. Let me also, take this sort of kind of opportunity to tell you about a very special feature. It's called the Living Library, right? So it's called the Living Library. And Jolly Noor Haq from Bangladesh, Dr. Khalid Hussain, also from Bangladesh, Ari Suhandi, Seher Afshin from Pakistan, who you just heard, and Nicolette Mathisen from Oxfam Novib, Netherlands. So we are having all these people. So you can book your seats in the Living Library. It's going to be open in a few minutes from now. Until then, of course, you have our very special speaker, Amir, come up. So till now, what are the poll results saying? 15% of you are saying that you're joining in from Pakistan, 15% from Bangladesh, Indonesia, and 50% of you are saying that you're joining from other geographies. So please leave those messages in the chat box. While the music and the video of Bangladesh was playing, I just went and took a quick look, saying that what is happening, in the chat box. Many of you are saying very encouraging things, saying that it's beautiful, the way this program is coming along. That is what I wanted to tell you. So many people have worked so hard for weeks, for months to kind of make this happen. So naturally, all that is going to come together today and tomorrow. If you have just joined in, if you have just registered, please make sure that you have your session tags. Book it on your calendar today and tomorrow, which session you want to be in, country wise or speaker wise. You can also get to read about them. You can get to network with some of these people. So I am just going to check with my friends who are working backstage, the team. So are we able to have Amir? Okay. I'm told there is still a bit of a network. Is he back? Okay, the secret voice is telling me that Vasanti, we may have Amir back with us. Amir, kemon achen? Khub bhalo? That is Bangla. Amir, if you are able to hear me, can you please, maybe if you close your camera, is the connectivity better? And if you unmute yourself, we can't hear you. We are very excited to have you present your thoughts on innovation. Maybe if you could, instead of the video, use only the audio option, and then we get to see your slides being presented, though of course we also have it here, but we would like to have you present it. Yeah, I think what can happen now is, with Amir's permission, in the interest of time, because there's just so many, there is also Jolly Noor Haq, who's going to be joining us in the next few minutes, who's a director, of Plan International from Bangladesh. So may I request the team, backstage to please show us Amir's presentation slide-wise. Yes, please. We can move some of these slides. I think, you see, I'm not going to be able to do as great a job which Amir would have done, because he's the creator of it all. But since we are having connectivity issues, we had asked him to share this. Can we go back to the previous slide, please? Yes. Okay, so here is the timeline that we see before us, the training, development, and various stages, with engineering students and development workers. Yes, Amir, if you are online, can you take over? You can mute your video maybe, if it helps connectivity.
Hi. I wish I'm back, right?
Yes, you are back.
Finally,
We can hear you.
Good God. Good God. Thank you so much. So, hi, my name is Amir, and I'm apologize to make trouble all the participants. So basically, I'm an engineering student. I was, and then I transformed my career into development and other training, that kind of stuff. So this is kind of a like timeline of my life. So I like graduated around 2016, and then I initially working in the development sector, but then I gradually transform into some learning transformation and other stuff. And right now, I am working for making the learning more joyful. It's like when we go for a travel, when we go for hang out with friends, that's make feel us good, right? So my plan is make the learning and training is also like that, that people will feel, okay, I'll go for training, wow, that's a good feeling. That's my kind of a dream. So these are kind of 4 components I'm working for right now. And can you just go for next slide, please? Yeah, next, yeah, right. So what kind of work basically we've done for? So back in 2019, sorry, 2020, initially before the COVID-19 situation, we're designing a gender workshop, basically gender game. So basically, like we call it typical gender, the content like the patriarchal issue, the gender versus sex, or the systematic oppression, how change our mindset. So this is kind of the content of the gender training, right? But not all the participants, or especially not related to the gender, they maybe not get interested. So we design a game with some different kind of games, and that games basically help to people make understood about the patriarchal issues, how systematic oppression make the people some stereotypical mindset, that kind of stuff. But it's not we're talking, people are doing some role plays and other stuff, they're playing some games to understand the thing, and this is called gender race. So gender race march in International Women's Day, and that is basically a public campaign. We go to a very public place in a park, and then we talk. We arrange a race, mini race, but that race basically some of the track is for men, and when people are starting racing, some of the track is so the women, they are facing different kind of trouble. They are finished the race for the same people now saying, oh wow, that's and in Bangladesh till now, even is them okay. This is the trend of 2021. It's not always safe. We're talking about the gender violence issues in the public place in every time, right? And this is a workshop we call River Biodiversity Workshop. So now, while you're talking about the biodiversity, ecological system, the flora, fauna, fish, we talk about the river. But around this kind of we design the workshop in a river, actually, because we hire, we rent the whole rooftop of the, and then we're talking about the participant with the river biodiversity issues, the changes of river water, the fisher folk right, and the other stuff, right? So that's why when we're talking about, okay, when you are live in a city area, the diversity of the fish, the ecological biodiversity is less rather than the in a remote area. And in the meantime, just seeing this is beside in this river, right? So yeah, so this is a workshop. Can you just go for the next slide, please? Right. So basically, why we're doing this kind of thing? So just imagine one thing: we are playing game in a field or playground or anywhere. We have a lots of energy, but when we are listening the same thing but same topic, we're like sleeping, right? So that because human attention and the way that we can concentrate the
then forget it.
game. So workshop on climate game. So where basically we're integrating harvesting, the drought, the and with one single game. And when the participant came in this workshop, so they will like play within the team, within by themselves, and through this game they will understand about these issues, right? So normally this kind of issue is a bit technical to make the people understood, and it takes lots of time. People sometimes got sleeping, especially those who don't come from the climate and environmental issues aspect. So yeah, so that's why we are and in the future we are planning to in basis on the COP26, we're planning to organize this kind of workshop something more in the different kind of universities in Bangladesh and as well as ISPO. Can you go for the next slide, please? Great. So now I want to say something about what I'm working with some other youth development aspect, some of the footprint. For example, I'm working for how we can make align the adventure and led by the government, which is implemented in the different kind of, especially the primary school, and as well as some organizational training, some environment aspect, and definitely team building and leadership. So can we go for next slide, please? So, my what is my future plan? In fact, so one of my future plan is like I try to make the people who are very lower part of the pyramid, like in our society, there's kind of pyramid. So the kind a very short of amount of people, like 3% or 5% of the people, top of the pyramid. Rest of the people like is down of the pyramid. So my future one that lower grade part of the pyramid who are getting more marginalized day by day, and they are like facing this kind of systemic oppression. So I maybe I will work for them. Not maybe, that's my dream in fact. So I will work for them. And second one is I try to change some factor in the mindset of the trainer, especially in the senior trainer in the Bangladesh. That's why they can integrate it, at least some joy factor, some fun factor, but not excluding for the content. It's like align with the content. So make the content like in joy factor thing, right? And lastly, the play space creation. So that is my another my master's work with my organization make a team. So basically I work for the school and the different kind of educational institution who those have any playground play space. So we try to design the alternate play space. So that's my next 3-year plan. But yeah, definitely maybe it will be extend to get some impact, right? So can you go for next, please? So thank you so much. And before I close, I want to say something about the Oxfam. So the gender game initially where we're designing the program with Oxfam, and also I work for the IAC community to, like, for example, in last month in August 12th, International Youth Day, the theme was the food transformation with the youth and that kind of thing. So we are designing a workshop. We called it youth food game. So where our youth are come in the virtual workshop where we try to play some game with them. So why I try to all the workshop name is game. So one thing is I told before, when we're playing for like 1 2 3 hours, we have lots of energy. But same content, same thing, same context, when we're listening, where we're in a training mode, people are like getting bored and they maybe even get lose their attraction, even they when they are not from the specifically that field, right? That is why I blend the game and the learning both in the same time. And sometimes we feel learning education should be more serious mode, should be more formalization thing. But I think learning could be also some informal setup. Learning could be also some getting some fun, right? So that is why we can getting more related. We call it education entertainment. So we called it edutainment. So thank you so much. And I write the name of my organization. So thank you. And if you have any question, just write in the chat box. I will catch it.
I'm so thankful. You see, that Amir Hamza could present his views, his fantastic, energy-filled vision of a future, of the kind of, creation of knowledge platforms that he's creating, even for those who are marginalized, that he was saying. And of course, those youth workshops and the fact that he has worked with the IKEA Foundation as well as Oxfam. Thank you so much, Amir. I'm sure a lot of people have noted down your email ID and your inbox is going to be full. Of course, even the chat boxes, there are beautiful messages coming in, and keep them coming, because that is how I know, sitting in this corner of the world in the global south, What's going on in your mind? How are you liking the programs that have been put together by such a huge team of people, by young people who have co-created this? In fact, to understand more of how some of this program EYW was conceived, even, I'm going to knock at the door of a neighboring country of India, which is Bangladesh, and get a lady right now on screen. I'm going to make this magic happen like this. Remember, I told you that I'm a time traveler, and I will say, Jolly, come on screen. And within a few seconds, she will be alive. Jolly Noor Haq, Director, Program Development and Learning, Plan International, Bangladesh. So, only when Jolly comes up on screen, I thought I'm going to tell more about the kind of work. But we will also, of course, have to make that little allowance. Remember that we are at a virtual program. So, how is connectivity in some of those places and network issues? I'm going to let the team tell me if we have Jolly. I know she's been ready. We even have had a conversation before the program started. But do we have Jolly in a good network place as of now? May I understand? All right, she's going to be joining us in a moment. Now, you see, about Jolly, let me introduce her even as she kind of comes back to us in this program. And Jolly is a development worker. And the way she sees is that I am a social worker by profession and youth by heart. You see, remaining young, no matter what your number of the age and chronology is ticking away, is what actually matters. So when Jolly is able to join us back, you will see that she carries with her a passion and commitment, and she takes a lot of pride of her work with and for young people. So this is something which I'm going to let Jolly join us back, because what Jolly is going to do is to speak to a range of people who are, considered youth heroes in their own community. They have, in the past 5 years, been part of these programs. There is, of course, Wahyuni from Indonesia. There is also Rashid, who's joining us from Pakistan. Very, very inspiring people. Rashid, in fact, was trying to open a girls' school in a place called Laiya in South Pakistan. There's also Abdul Nasir, who is joining us from Ethiopia. So Jolly is the one who is going to be anchoring much of these conversations. When we have her back, I'm going to ask her some of these questions about what was there in the, being born stage of EYW. So that is something which we probably will give a few seconds to check on Jolly's, network connection, where she's joining us from Dhaka. No, we will wait, of course, for Jolly to do that. But while we give a couple of minutes of a sort of a time gap for her to be able to log in again, hopefully from a good place, I'm going to also ask you another poll question, which is, you can take your time to answer this, and it's just a question that's coming to my mind. I'm going to request the team that is working back end to frame this poll question, which is that if you are participating, if you are taking part in this program, you're being able to register onto the EYW program of Oxfam, and being made possible by IKEA Foundation. How do you see yourself? Are you someone who is a co-creator of some of these programs? Are you a youth participant? Are you someone from another country who's here just to learn as a learner about these programs? So these kind of insights that you can use the poll button on your pages to make it possible will, of course, kind of give us an insight into who we are speaking to. I also encourage some of you who have been logging on to this to make use of our sessions. There are many breakout sessions coming up right after Jolly's session. And of course, on the Living Library, if I can have the team scroll up and show me a little bit about the Living Library part. You heard Seher, in fact, speak to us a little bit about how and what kind of programs were there in some of these early programs of EYW. Now, in the Living Library, you can book your seat. If you can go up to the Living Library that you see the button. Jolly, of course, will hopefully be soon with us. There's also Dr. Khalid Hussain from Bangladesh. There is Ari Suhandi from Indonesia, who we just heard, Seher Afshin from Pakistan, and Nicolette from Oxfam Novib. So I'm going to request the team to ask if Francisco is somebody who we can welcome, if he is ready with us. Because, with Francisco, we have something very unique coming into this program. I'm going to request the team to tell me if Francisco from Oxfam, he's joining us. Is he ready with, his thoughts to present to us? Sure.
Hi, Vasanti.
Excellent. Francisco, how are you doing this morning for you, I'm guessing? Where are you joining us from?
I'm from The Hague in the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands. So how is the weather there?
Oh, yeah, it's very nice today. We have a very sunny morning, so that's great, especially because here it rains a lot. So, days like this are very special.
I have had the great opportunity of coming to your country and even presenting programs there, including an Oxfam program in 2016. And I love the Dutch. I love the Dutch country. And of course, I love the dairy flavor. There's just so many cows, and the dairy sector is something I visited. I was about to suggest, Francisco, that since Jolly is has had to kind of drop off due to some glitches. I'm going to introduce you, and are you ready to present your thoughts? Is that something okay?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All
We
right.
can start, yeah.
Yes. So as Francisco gets ready for his presentation, I will tell the people who are viewing us that Francisco is an impact measurement specialist. He focuses on quantitative research. His work entails the application of quasi-experimental methods of impact valuation and economic analysis, because he comes with a very rich experience in quantitative research on social protection, youth unemployment, public finance of local governments, and international trade in El Salvador. He has, in fact, lectured there on courses on microeconomics and social security at the undergraduate level. He holds a master's degree in development studies with specialization in econometric analysis. I mean, some of these words are so big, and I'm going to pretend like I know it all. So, Francisco holds a master's degree in development studies and many specializations. And this is interesting for those of you who are, always keen to know about the other dimensions of personalities. He enjoys playing football, going to the gym, which of course I think shows Francisco. And he's also passionate about cooking and trying new recipes. With that, I'm going to leave the stage for Francisco to present his thoughts. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vasanti. As you mentioned today, the main purpose of these findings that I want to share with you is to give you some insights about the holistic approach of Empowered Youth for Work with evidence that we gather through the different data collection exercises that we did to evaluate the implementation of our program. If we can go to the next slide. Next, please. Next one, please. Yeah, so the main question that we want to answer today, if we go to the next one. Yeah, we have this main question at the beginning of this research. Okay, so we know the approach of the Empowered Youth for Work in relation to the holistic approach, and also with the three different building blocks that they are connected between each other about agency and skills, economic opportunities of youth, and the enabling environment. But then we thought, okay, this is the theory, right? But it's important that we can know if this is exactly happening in this program, if these thoughts that we have are actually supported by evidence. So with this research, we try to answer if these connections between the building blocks are there in the different countries. So in that sense, we investigated, okay, what are the links between agency and the skills of youth with the employment opportunities, and what are the links between enabling environment and the economic opportunities of youth, and also the links between enabling environment and agency and the skills of youth. Can we go to the next one, please?
Thank God. Sure is. No, video
Next one. And in terms of the type of information that we use, in the building block of agency and skills, we focus on the agency of youth to change things in the youth groups, in the community, and to make changes in their personal life. We focus also on the soft skills, which is a set of personal attributes that enable young people to interact effectively with other people. On technical skills, we measure the percentage of the number of youth in the different communities that they have a technical skill. And entrepreneurship skills, we also developed for this research a scale to measure young people's attitudes towards entrepreneurship, their potential to become entrepreneurs, and their skills to run business successfully. Next slide, please. To analyze the building block of economic opportunities, then we focus on the percentage of youth with a job in the different communities and countries of the program, and also on the percentage of youth entrepreneurs. Next slide, please. And then for the building block of the enabling environment, we study some indicators related to gender and age social restrictions related to youth employment. And we focus here on the views of youth, but also on the views of community members. And how do we study this part of the enabling environment? Well, we ask a question during our study to young people and also to community members about what they think about youth employment, what they also think other young people is doing in their community, and also what they think that others will think about them if they, for instance, will start a business or they will have a job. Next slide, please. And the information that we use for this study is the midline impact evaluation reports that we did in 3 countries, in Bangladesh, Ethiopia, and Indonesia, which was supported with the Midland Youth Service and the Community Service. And in total, we had more than 1,600 youth respondents and more than 400 community members who participated in this survey, who provided very valuable information for us to do this analysis. Next slide. Next one, please. Yeah, and can we go to the next one? And I want to give you today 3 key messages. First one is these building blocks of Empower Youth for Work, they are interlinked. And all of them, they make a contribution for the social and economic empowerment of youth. And our findings from the different countries show that indeed youth with higher agency and youth with higher skills, either technical, entrepreneurial skills, or soft skills, they have higher chances to have a job. So it makes sense then that Empower Youth for Work focus on give this type of different trainings to improve the skills of youth so they could have higher chances to find an employment or to start a business. Next slide, please. And in the case of the enabling environment and the skills, The second key message is like, yes, the enabling environment supports the potential of youth to have a higher agency, but also to have higher soft skills. There are differences between the countries, but in general terms, the gender and the age social restrictions play a role for the potential of youth. And in that sense, communities where these restrictions are very low or not existent give a social context which supports the agency and the skills of youth. Next slide, please. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah, and in general terms, we have that the enabling environment, for instance, in the case of the soft skills, one interesting finding was that also in the case of young men, that they have more gender equal attitudes, they have also higher skills, higher soft skills. And also what people think in the community, when they think that it's appropriate for young people to work, and when people think that it's okay that that young people participate in the labor market, in these communities, the youth, they have higher soft skills. Next slide, please. And something also similar happens in terms of technical skills. When there is more support towards young women working, they have also there is a higher, let's say, number of also young women with technical skills, and also higher number of young men with technical skills. Next slide. And I think in this part also something very interesting, it was that also in the case of the enabling environment, what the community members think, if they think that it's appropriate for young people to work, or they also think that there are low or non-existent gender-related social restrictions, young people have also higher entrepreneurship skills. Next slide. And also in communities with higher, let's say, support towards gender equality, also young people have higher entrepreneurship skills. And also when there is common that young people work. So in that sense, there is when it's common that young people work, that also, let's say, encourage other people to have to start different businesses. Next slide. And to the third key message that I want to also give to you today, it's about the enabling environment and the economic opportunities. And in general terms, the good news here is that an enabling environment, it's important to support young entrepreneurship. And especially what we found in this case, it was that this is very, very important to support young women entrepreneurship. And these communities with a supportive environment promote much more that young women can start a business. Next slide, please. I think for the time, I would like maybe now to move to the final reflections, so we can if we can move. Next slide, please. So as a final reflection, what I would like to share with you is, okay, we found that indeed there is evidence that a combination of skills, soft skills, entrepreneurship skills, technical skills, and also a higher agency indeed helps young people to find a job, either either working as farmers
Well, it was really, really good, in fact, to hear Francisco, and a very unique, research angle. That's something that you brought on board. I really wish that those last few microseconds of your presentation, you had not lost your connection. But the, technology glitch is a great leveler. But while I thank you, Francisco, I also have great happiness in sharing with all our viewers that this lady from Bangladesh, who we were really waiting for, she is hopefully, all that magic I was trying to work back just so that she comes into the screen at this moment. Let's see if my magic is not flopping this time, right? So, Jolly, are you in?
I am. I am.
Yes, you see,
It reminds me of a time when I was in university. We used to always submit our presentations or assignments, right? And at the last moment, the computer would crash and everything would be gone. And then we would be just handwritten everything. So that's the experience that when you need some technology, it's not with you.
well,
Anyway,
that's,
I'm
the,
glad
the
that I'm
larger
back now.
yeah, the larger design of the universe, I guess, Jolly, that we all have to submit to. But you see, the only disadvantage of you dropping off was that I said some fabulous things about you, you see, which you couldn't hear. I just said some
Right.
extraordinary qualities of.
I'll make sure that I hear the recording.
Yeah. So I don't want to take more of your time, Jolly, because I know that those who are watching us are awaiting very keenly what you want to present, and what you have to ask. Special guests who are joining in from different parts, the youth participants. But I just have one question, and then of course, I'm going to just kind of slip off and watch you as an audience, which is that the building blocks. You see, you were somebody who were the part of a very, very core team that Seher and Marika in the morning, were sharing with us. So there is this word I keep hearing called building blocks. Now, you see, the building blocks are those toys that we used to play with in the childhood. But turns out it's a very, very important foundation itself for Oxfam's EYW. So I will let you tell us what those are.
Well, thanks, Vasanti. I mean, I think it will be helpful for everyone to understand that it's not the play blocks anymore. It's the real life building blocks that we created Empower Youth for Work program based on. And when the whole thing started in 5 years' time, and then we started to think, okay, why we are not there yet? What were the key problems that's blocking us from going there? So we started to unpack all the problems, and then we saw that there are relevance of different problems. All the problems were interlinked. It's not that I solve one problem and everything will be solved. So then we started to group them, and then we saw that, okay, one problem is regarding young people, they don't have the skill. But what happens even if they have the skill, if they don't have the job opportunities or the financial access, right? So we started to think, okay, then we must work with the private sector and the employers and everyone, and ensure that there is a decent work environment, especially for girls. And then we said that, okay, we solved the skill problem, we solved the employment problem, but what happens if a girl is not allowed to go out of their home?
Yeah.
How are they going to do that, right? And then we started to realize that no, it's not only about skills and employment and working with private sector, but we have to work with the community, we have to work in line with the government so that they support us. And there comes the three building blocks. One is the agency and skill, then that comes with economic empowerment, and then comes the enabling environment. And all these three actually contributed to build what we see. Like at the beginning, you showed us all those pictures, and I was getting so excited. I'm sure all the people who were involved in this program were as excited as I was to see how it impacted the young people. So those are the three key building blocks without working on which we couldn't achieve what we have achieved so far. And that's what the
Yes.
building blocks are.
Yeah. So those who have learned something really, really new, and I'm sure there are people who would love to be designers of such a framework, and I think you have brought this alive for us. So I'm going to request the back end team who are producing this to actually show this. Probably I can step off stage and Jolly's slide of what the building blocks are. That is what it is. They empower youth for work in a nutshell, the agency, the economic opportunities, and the very critical factor of enabling environment, some of which even Francisco touched upon for us. So anyways, this is also going to be recorded, so you can catch much of these sessions later on the YouTube channel of Oxfam. I'm going to welcome Jolly back again to take this, very powerful conversation forward with all our youth participants. It's now over, and back to you, Jolly.
Thanks, Vasanthi, what building blocks are, and thanks to Francisco, who has presented what this research says about this approach, this holistic approach. So when we talk about holistic approach, it's like looking at a program from a bird's eye view and try to figure out the bits and pieces. I can speak from a very professional, a very research perspective, but I think it's really important that we hear the actual stories, that how these building blocks and this holistic approach impacted the people's life. And today we have with ourselves, we have Wahyuni from Indonesia, who is one of our youth leaders. We have Rashid Bhai, who is from Pakistan, Suman Bibi from Pakistan, and we have our two esteemed partner representatives, Elizabeth Murandi from Bangladesh and Abdul Nasir Ahmad from Ethiopia. And I would like to have bring all the speakers on screen so people, the audiences, get to know and can see themselves. I'm requesting all the participants, can you please turn on your cameras up? Like if it's a technological problem, don't worry about it, we can only hear you, but it would be great if we could see you, see your faces behind the screen.
Yes. Looks like Jolly has had a bit of an issue again with the network bit. So it was a very beautiful moment. I was in fact trying to take a screenshot of everybody, and I think Jolly is back now. Otherwise, I would have requested for Rashid Bhai to, say his story. Back to you, Jolly.
Very sorry about this, and this gives us a reality check, sitting in Bangladesh, sitting in Ethiopia, in Pakistan, even in Netherlands, how struggling it could be with the network. So welcome back, all our speakers. Can everyone hear me? Elizabeth, Abdul Nasir, Rashid, Wahyuni, Francisco, can you all hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Show me a thumbs up. Rashid Bhai? Okay. Great. I would like to you are one of our young leaders from Indonesia. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us that how you got involved with Empower Youth for Work? Over to you, Wahyuni. If you can unmute yourself. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore. Hai teman-teman, perkenalkan nama saya Wahyuni dari Indonesia. Terima kasih telah memberi saya kesempatan untuk mengikuti kegiatan ini. Nah, sebelum saya bergabung atau mengenal EYW, kegiatan saya setiap harinya cuma bekerja di salah satu toko roti Maros. Itu pun waktu saya terbatas karena adanya larangan dari orang tua. Mengapa ada larangannya? Karena tempat kerjanya jauh. Tapi setelah bergabung di EYW atau mengenal kegiatan-kegiatannya, akhirnya saya sudah tidak bekerja di toko Ratu Maras lagi, tapi sudah mempunyai salah satu usaha baik dari segi mandiri maupun berkelompok. Awal saya bergabung di EYW sekitar tahun 2019. Saya mengikuti kegiatan, yaitu salah satunya soft skill. Itu pun saya bergabung cuma karena coba-coba. Kebetulan pas ada kegiatannya itu hari libur dari pekerjaan. Dan diajak pula pertama kali oleh teman. Kegiatan yang saya ikuti soft skill, khususnya saya pribadi itu yang diajarkan itu mampu berkomunikasi di depan umum atau memberikan pendapat. Sebab karena waktu saya pertama kali belum bergabung itu saya rasa kurang percaya diri, saya kurang takut salah mengemukakan pendapat maupun solusi. Beda halnya setelah saya mengikuti kegiatan soft skill, kami diberi arahan atau pemahaman, salah satunya berkomunikasi dan beradaptasi. Seiring berjalannya waktu, saya sudah mulai mencoba aktif memberikan pendapat atau memberikan pertanyaan di salah satu kegiatan yang saya ikuti. Setelah mengikuti kegiatan soft skill, selang beberapa bulan kemudian, akhirnya kami HCD, di mana kegiatan ini sangat bermanfaat karena kami diberi arahan dan solusi yang memiliki dampak positif terkhusus bagi anak muda maupun di lingkungan masyarakat. Salah satunya yang ditawarkan yaitu pembentukan Youth Hub, di mana Youth Hub ini adalah salah satu simpul atau kelompok yang di desa. Kami pun difasilitasi oleh ADS yang mana mereka ingin memiliki keinginan untuk mempersiapkan masa depan dengan menggali atau menentukan potensi-potensi yang ada dalam diri kami maupun di lingkungan untuk bertujuan meningkatkan perekonomian khususnya di desa kami. Setelah pembentukan kelompok, kami pun diberi pelatihan teknis, di mana pelatihan ini sangat membantu karena walaupun kami sudah mengetahui potensi-potensi di desa kami, sampai adanya pengolahan, pasti kami belum mengembangkan potensi-potensi di sekitar. Salah satunya, contoh, kami sudah mengembangkan salah satu produk olahan dari ikan mujair. Kebetulan mayoritas di desa kami adalah petani tambak, di mana ikan mujair kami itu cuma terbuang sia-sia. Karena masyarakat menganggap ikan mujair yang kurang lebih dengan ukuran 2 cm sebagai hama. Jadi masyarakat akan menghilangkannya menggunakan pestisida. Nah, daripada ikan mujair terbuang sia-sia, kami berpikir untuk mengelolanya menjadi keripik, dan akhirnya difasilitasi dan diberikan pelatihan dan arahan dalam menjalankan sebuah usaha atau bisnis untuk membantu kami dalam perekonomian maupun di kalangan masyarakat. Nah, ini teman-teman salah satu produk kami, namanya keripik ikan mujair, biasa kami sebut dengan keripik jabiro. Ini produk tanpa pengawet dan MSG. Setelah itu kegiatan selanjutnya saya mengikuti kegiatan GALS, di mana pengaruh GALS ini bagi kami sangat bermanfaat karena sebelum mengenal GALS, terutama bagi saya pribadi maupun di kalangan masyarakat, khususnya di keluarga, mereka akan melarang anak-anaknya untuk berpendidikan tinggi. Maraknya pernikahan dini, bepergian keluar rumah maupun keluar daerah tanpa adanya terlibatnya orang tua ikut serta. Setelah kami mengikuti GALS, kami diberi arahan dan pemahaman bahwa perempuan juga bebas untuk memberikan pendapat tanpa adanya batasan. perempuan dan laki-laki juga memiliki hak yang sama dan kesempatan yang sama. Kami pun berusaha menunjukkan bahwa apa
Yes,
yang kami
amazing.
lakukan baik berkelompok maupun perseorangan, semua kegiatan masih dalam tahap positif serta membangun. Jadi dengan adanya program EYW terkhusus di Indonesia, kami mendapat banyak hal yang bermanfaat, baik dalam bidang ilmu, pengalaman, jaringan semakin luas atau teman bertambah, serta khususnya di kalangan anak muda sudah bisa membangun usaha sendiri dan menambah perekonomian. Sekian sharing saya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Wahyuni. It's so great to see. It's echo. It's. I mean, you have already spoken about how your self skill, how soft skill has helped you, and then how you got the trainings, and then how the gals actually helped eradicating your struggles in the community, and the family is helping you out. So this all speaks about the holistic approach, that why empower youth for work, and this approach was really helpful. And thank you so much for sharing your experience. Now I would like to go to Rashid Bhai. So Rashid Bhai, from Pakistan, we have heard that you have a video to share with us. I'm welcoming all our audiences to let's watch the video together, which Rashid Bhai has put together for us.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Rashid. My qualification in double master, and I belong to rural area of district Layya, province Punjab, Pakistan. I also want to do something special for the betterment of our community, and especially for young girls. Before joining EYW project, I was running a private school. 2018, I joined EYW project. I attend many trainings and like standard package, farming, businesses, and girls. Girls was more valuable and precious training for me and my vision. And when all trainings were completed, I and my group members decided to build a skill center in our community because our community young girls and women were not skilled and well educated. Therefore, we decided to establish a skill center where all young girls and women gain trainings, embroidery, stitching, and beautician. And now we are going to start computer courses in our community. And I also establish a nursery near my house to reduce global warming, climate change. I also exchange my nursery plants with used PET bottles, plastic bottles, and I also conduct sessions with females on the topic of harassment and women rights. And I also shared helpline 1043. They can register their complaint in this helpline. And before EYW project, I don't know nothing something of social sector, not now. And um, now after the EYW project joined, and I am selected now as a board of director. Thanks Allah Almighty and all the team of EYW project.
Thank you so much, Rashid Bhai, for sharing this beautiful story of yours. And I was mesmerized, like the pictures of Leia and the beautiful nature. It was really nice. And I mean, I could actually feel connected. Not being in Bangladesh, our environment is almost like same. So I've almost felt like I'm there with you. So thank you for taking us there. So Rashid bhai, tell us, what will be one thing that you would like to tell our audiences? If you would like to say one thing to our audiences, what would that be about our project, about this Empower Youth for Work program? If you can unmute yourself. Yes, Rashid bhai, what will be one thing that you would like to tell our audience about this program?
I'm not hearing. Ma'am, please repeat the question.
What, if you have to say one thing, सिर्फ एक बात जो आप सबको बताना चाहते हैं. यहाँ बहुत सारे लोग हैं.
To share my girls training overall, who's give me many advantage and my community advantage. First of all, thank you for playing my video and asking this question. Girls training was very valuable and precious for me and my community in Laya, Pakistan, because it helped us to realize and fulfill my vision. There was no proper direction without it. During the training, we set our goals for the first time in our life. It was very beneficial in four aspects. First of all, first one is social aspect, followed by economical, general, gender, and political aspects. We were able to bring focus to our businesses and startups, achieving gender equality and raise more awareness and participation of young male and female. In engagement with local policymakers, this has resulted in improved community development in my area. And lastly, so that was the importance and benefits of girls training for me and my community, male and female. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rashid bhai. So the message that I get is GALS is something that if from our audiences, if you would like to know more about this GALS program, please reach out to our colleagues, Gwendolyn, Karen, and we would like to give you more information about it, because Rashid bhai's information and what he shared, his experience, it really emphasizes that how this GALS program is really making a difference in the lives of not only girls, but also men. Thank you so much, Rashid bhai. So I would like to welcome now our one of our partner representatives, which is Elizabeth Morandi. She is from Bangladesh. Elizabeth, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me, Appa?
Yes. So Elizabeth, we can hear you. We can hear you. Tell us. So what has been your experience, and tell us about, like, we have heard about the good things from Wahyuni and Rashid bhai. Just tell us what were the challenges, and how you as a partner representative, you were the one who were doing all this work in the field. What was your experience has been?
Thank you. First of all, I will not go for the video view because I have experiencing today a very poor connection. So I'll just stop, if that is okay. So thank you,
Absolutely.
Jolly
Thank
Appa, for this wonderful opportunity for sharing the partner's experience from Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, the Empower Youth for Work project has been implemented in 4 districts. Two of the districts are located in the northern part of Bangladesh, and two are in the southern part. I am implementing the project in one of the northern districts, Rajshahi, as part of RDRS Bangladesh, one of the partners. So, as implementing partners, we knew that through this project, We wanted to improve economic and social empowerment of young men and women living in climate change affected areas. But when we were on board, even though we had a very good orientation, but the diverse kind of activities really like kind of overwhelmed us. For instance, like we couldn't understand how like forming youth groups could improve the economic and social empowerment, how like observing on the other hand the Women's Day would help us to reach the goals. So it still can be overwhelming if anyone is thinking these activities separately. But however, when we started exploring the three building blocks of the project, the approach started making sense to us. That is the holistic approach. And we realized which is actually a relative issue. So, therefore, it was not possible to attain this goal in a straightforward intervention. Rather, we required a multifaceted approach, which is this holistic approach. But as implementers, we faced some challenges with this approach. Uh, First of all these, like most of these activities required 70% of female participation. But the female participation is still in a social or economic activities is still a challenge in Bangladesh. We have seen the scenario has changed a lot, which we saw from the research report, but it really still has a long way to go. For instance, when we started off, we hardly found female youths to participate in any of the training programs, especially the residential ones. And here, the holistic approach played its part. Our activities like the soft skill training under the building block 1 and the family level meetings under the building block 3 helped us to motivate and encourage the female youths and their families to convince them for the training programs. And later, when these ladies or these female youths benefited from these programs, they also encourage other people, other youths. So this is another outcome of our agency building capacities under the building block 1 activities. So to me, this is the best experience as an implementer, that you can measure the outcomes of your inputs. The similar kind of experience applies to our entrepreneurship development trainings, the technical trainings, and business supports as well. And as implementers, we do not have to actually search for the results because they just in front of us. So even though I'm so cheerful about this positive experience, we still need to focus on some of the challenges, that still exist. I shared about the female participation, but youth participation as a whole in the general overall socio-economic structure is still a far cry. Like we are yet to see the full implementation of the national youth policy, and we also need the youth-friendly financial and credit market access. So these type of challenges are still there. So bringing such changes is a matter of long-term relentless effort from all the stakeholders of the system. So this was from my side. I hope it made some changes and gave you some picture of overall it was really a wonderful journey. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth D. It's wonderful because we don't see the picture, behind the curtain of what's happening, all those challenges that you people who work in the field you face, and that's the beauty of Empower Youth for Work. And I would say from IKEA Foundation that the continuous urge to learn that what's happening, what are the challenges, how we can pivot, and how we can change our ways of work to adjust those challenges. And that's wonderful that you have shared all those challenges. And now I would like to go to Abdul Nasir, who is from Ethiopia. And the partner's name is Habioko. If I'm not wrong, Abdul Nasir, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. So I would like to hear from you. So you had been, I'm pretty sure that you had been involved in different other projects and programs. What was different about Empower Youth for Work? Just give us your experience. What was different?
Yeah, thank you, Julie. Do you hear me? Yeah, and first of all, I would like to greet all of you, and I'm very glad and delighted to see you in this wonderful global symposium sessions. So, and I think we've been discussing all about the holistic approach, and as far as the holistic approach is concerned, it's all about how the project was designed to solve the problem of young people. So the special thing I have seen in this project, or I've learned in this project, is that in our case, basically the project is the first of its kind. There has never been a project focusing particularly on young people. So it is with EYW program that in our country, initiations started focusing on young people, having analyzed the different challenges that young people are facing, particularly as the project was designed holistically, or in a comprehensive kind of system. You can see how young people are facing challenges with when it comes to skills, and when it comes to financial products to start financial businesses. And also there is at the other corner there is what you call existing social norms and existing policies that in one way or another hinder the participation of disadvantaged group of population segments like women or female. So this project was designed to address these core problems of young people in a holistic manner, because we have seen that there is a lack of skills of young people that hinders them to negotiate with key stakeholders and to change the labor market. We have seen that there is lack of fair and affordable financial services for young people to start businesses, and at the same time, we need to work, on the social order to allow youths or young people to work, innovate, use, and as well as create opportunities by promoting an environment in which young people, especially the disadvantaged ones, can thrive and have their voices heard. So you can see how young people's problems are multifaceted, and this multifaceted kind of problems can be solved in an all-inclusive approach, and with only such an approach or holistic approach that we can build the socio-economic empowerment of young people. So in this program, I have seen that young people are part and parcel of the design. They are co-creator of their future and their fate. So with focusing on, young people must be confident and skillful, and they must have the capacity to negotiate with key stakeholders, as I have already said. So by doing so, we have been able to develop the personal attitudes and attributes that enable young people to interact effectively and harmoniously with others. We have been able to produce a number of youths with technical skills that are deemed necessary in the labor market. We have been able to create a strong appetite. This is the most important lesson I have seen in the project actually. We have been able to create a strong appetite and positive attitudes toward this entrepreneurship in young people and to run a business successfully. So in this regard, we can say that the project has empowered young people with skills and attitudes And also with regard to economic opportunities, we have been able to create so far, specifically in our region, we've been able to create economic opportunity for young people, not less than 3,500 individuals or youngsters. And again, the system is more or less, focusing on policy and social knowledge. So basically, we have created or established a kind of multi-stakeholder platform or a stage that serves as an important entity to facilitate effective program implementation. So in those kind of platforms, we have youth representatives who make sure that decisions are made according to the needs and the needs and aspiration of young people. So
Thank you so much, Abdul Nasser. Yes, it's great, and I'm sorry I dropped out again. I hope I didn't miss much of your experiences, but thank you for sharing your experience. And when you say that it is the first project, which is like really different, this is one of a kind of project. I really could feel, because in our chat box, people are actually mentioning how we have seen that young people has become entrepreneurs. Like, how do you see a result, right? Like, when you see that it has changed the lives of young people, that's how it proves that this whole approach works. So thank you, Abdul Nasser, for sharing your experience. I would like to go to Suman Bibi now. Suman Bibi from Pakistan. uh, are you there, Suman Bibi?
Hello. I think
Yes, Abid Bhai.
she's going through some network problem. So
Right.
so let's wait for a half minute, and if not, then on behalf of Shuman, I'll share the details and her answer.
Absolutely. Within that time, I would request our audiences, if you have any questions from our colleague Francisco about the research, if you have any questions for Wahuni or Elizabeth or anyone, you can just drop it, in the chat box, or you could raise your hands, and I will try to give you the floor. I see one hand raised. Uh, Awal Nur Hussein, I see your hand up. I'm not sure if you can speak, but can you please write down your question or comment in the chat box, and I can read it out.
Are you hearing me? Can I speak?
Oh, I can hear you. So please go ahead.
Yes.
We can hear you. So if you would like to say something. Okay, so what I'm going to request everyone is, if you have any questions, you can post it. And let's go back until our youth leader Suman Bibi can join. Let's look at the polls. I think our Pickle Jar team has actually posted some polls there, and let's see what questions are there. So one question which came, and I would like it. The poll has been closed. So our question was, according to UN, what is the age of youth? Is it 15 to 24, 18 to 13, 15 to 29, or 18 to 35? I'm really glad to see 50%, almost 50% of the participants, they have voted for 15 to 24. 28% has given 18 to 35. 23% has said it's 15 to 29, and 2% has said it's 18 to 30. So according to UN, the actual definition of young people is 15 to 24, and that was the age group that Empower Youth for Work actually worked in these 5 years. So all our young people were within that age group. So thank you so much who has replied to the poll. I would like to also ask another question. So how many of you actually can say how many building blocks are there in Empower Youth for Work project? Can I, if there is no poll, just you can just write your answer in the chat box. Oh, there is the poll. So how many building blocks does Empower Youth for Work has? 3 blocks, 2 blocks, or 5 blocks? Let's see whether you had been listening to us properly or not. Audiences, we are giving you 10 seconds to vote. I would say it's we are pretty successful in our holistic approach. So, Karen, Gwen, Maria, all who are sitting in Netherlands, please feel really good about it, because most of our participants, they have answered the right, given the right answers. It is actually 3 building blocks. We would like to go back to our
Suman Bibi's
speaker,
back.
Abid Bhai, maybe. Okay, great. Suman Bibi. So my question to you is, being a woman, especially a young woman, how was your experience from this program? If you can unmute yourself if you're speaking. So you are a young person, and especially a young woman. So what was your experience?
Hello, Assalamualaikum. I am here.
Walaikum salam, Suman Bibi. Welcome. And can you tell us, being the young women in Pakistan, what was your experience?
Your voice is not clear.
Suman, we can hear you. You may start.
Yes, sir. Why not? Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam, Suman Bibi. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Suman?
Suman, we can hear you. You can start with your answer.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your question. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I am really happy to be part of this event. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I am Sayyida Suman Bibi. I am 19 years old. I am from district Jamshoro, in Pakistan. Certainly, I am doing my graduation in botany and zoology, and I am teaching past 5 years. I want to introduce to EYW project in 2017, and it is brought many positive changes in my life. The trainings and community mobilization has helped me to serve my community. Due to EYW trainings, I was called for some interviews, but I decided to have on coaching and tuition center as I wanted to reach out of my house.
Suman Bibi, do you want to speak in Urdu? If you want, you can
as I
speak.
wanted to reach out to more and more people of my community with education. There were many challenges as I was not allowed to go out of my house for work, but my mother supported me, and I able to run my coaching center. For me, it was very important that the girls of my village get access to work, get job opportunities, as the literacy rate in my village is very low. Then I helped and supported my sister to start her own business. After that, I formed a group of young girls who discuss and share their challenges, plans for future, make connections, and speak about genders and norms. Of many challenges, I will continue to help young girls in my village because young people will bring the real change. Now I am ending my discussion with the beautiful poetry of Pakistan's famous poet Dr. Muhammad Allama Iqbal. मोहब्बत मुझे उन जवानों से है मोहब्बत मुझे उन जवानों से है सितारों पे जो डलते हैं कुमंद. I would like to translate in English this poetry. The youth of whom the share are not out of bounds are the ones I love indeed. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Suman Bibi. What a wonderful ending of the discussion with this beautiful, powerful poem. Thank you so much for
Sorry, I
sharing.
cannot hear.
We can hear
Your voice is
you.
not
So
clear, ma'am.
uh, we can hear you, Suman Bibi. We can hear you, and I'm thanking you for actually sharing this poem because it is almost in at the end. We are at the end of our holistic approach session, and thank you for sharing this poem because nothing could have been better than this.
Ma'am, your voice is not clear continuously.
Okay. Thank you so much, Suman Bibi. And that's what we wanted in this session is just to tell the audiences that how a holistic approach works. It's not only theory, it's not only research, it has impacted thousands of young girls and boys' life, and lots of we are already seeing lots of outcome. Boys and girls, they are becoming business people, like they are becoming entrepreneurs, they are becoming employed in different sectors, and that's how the change should come, right? And they are the leaders, they are taking self initiatives, doing amazing work in their communities, and that's how Empower Youth for Work has contributed in their life through a holistic approach, not only working with one particular block, or didn't just work with young people, but it worked with all the relevant people who are around young people and who influences their lives. And that is with that note, I would like to end our holistic session approach today. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat, or there is a Q&A. I see that there are some questions around the research work, and we will pass it on to our colleague Francisco, and he will be responding to the question one to one. But thank you. That's we are ending our holistic approach session. Over to you, Vasanti. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Jolly, before you sign off, I would request all the people to again switch on their cameras, if at all it's possible, because it was really, really such a rich coming together of people from so many geographies and so many languages, and you managed to knit them all together despite huge network issues and what have you. So if at all it's possible to switch on the camera, Rashid Bhai and Vahuni, and of course Shuman Bibi and Francisco and Abdul Nasir, it was fantastic listening to all of you. And Ari, so this is and of course we also have Elizabeth with us. So this is the close or the wrap of this part of the holistic session, but it is by no means the close of the day's programs. We could even say that this is the beginning of more and more thoughts, more ideas, more exchanges and inspiration. So I would I'm sure Jolly, even as I was seeing you, a lot of people were sending us screenshots as well, because they love the idea that technology is making it possible for us to be together, even despite a challenging pandemic across the world. And it sort of makes it's a very poignant moment in a way for all of us. So I want to say two things to all those who are viewing us. Yes, feel feel free to take all those photographs and share them on your, your own social media and on EYW. But the other thing is that there is a thing called Showcase that you would like to visit, which has got beautiful products made by EYW entrepreneurs. Talk about it, visit those showcases, of course, and make sure that you reach out to these entrepreneurs even at a much later level, because as Francisco, for instance, was saying, that it's so important to have enabling environment for all these women especially, and many of you today in Jolly's session have shared your own stories, you see. So with that, I'm going to invite many of you to book your seats in the living library, also visit the showcase, and look for products. And we will also put together a video of all the special moments that all of you have been a part of towards the end of the session after the breakout sessions. So I hope you have made your choices, which one you want to be in. It's a very, very difficult choice, I am saying, but I think you will make that take that opportunity and take great advantage. And I, of course, Vasanthi Hariprakash, I'm stepping out a little bit now, and I'll watch you all as audience. We'll be back in the closing session with a lot more, and would love to hear from you. So with that, of course, we will let you go into the living library for now. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Takkan lupa demi angin memilih angin yang dingin, namun tak sayangku. Hey,
Tumi angin mamiri Ngerang nama lotan sari
এটা তো এখানেই ঢুকাইছে আমাকে ডাইরেক্ট।